Hello, 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 my loves. As always, I hope that this live or this replay finds you well and in excellent spirits. Happy Monday, and welcome to another edition of the weekly Astro Forecast live here in the Astro Room on YouTube. I am your host and your favorite astrologer, Mel of Divine Feminine Works, where I help people unlock their divinity and discover their magic. So, if this is our first time meeting, welcome. And as always, if you are returning, welcome back. This channel is everything astrology, spirituality, and manifestation. So, if those are the things you like, if those are the things you love, or if those are the things you want to learn more about, don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well as that notification bell so you'll always be notified when I come up with new content. All right, my loves. So, this is the weekly astro forecast for the week of August 11th through August 17th, 2025. All right. So, I'm happy, extremely happy, and you might be too. Okay, so if you tuned in last week, I talked all about how the week kind of sucked, and not for nothing, it did. The energy was very combative, it was very rough. Some astrologers were calling it like the worst week of the year. I wouldn't go as far as to say that. However, it was definitely a rough one. Mars was the star of the show last week, and we all know how Mars can be combative, hot, fiery, confrontational, all of that. And hopefully, you didn't experience all of Mars's wrath last week. But I am so happy to report that this week, it's like night and day from last week. Whereas Mars was the star of the show last week, one of our favorite planets, Venus, is the star of the show this week, and she's bringing sweetness, some softness, and a little bit of destiny, fate, and dare I say, soulmates. It's going to be one of those weeks where we're all feeling a little better, we're all experiencing a little blessing from the universe, and it may feel like life feels okay, even if for a brief moment. So, strap in because it's going to be a really nice one this week. All right. But before I get into the details and everything concerning the astrology for the week, of course, housekeeping and announcements. So if you are joining me live tonight, thank you so much for tuning in. I sincerely appreciate you. Hit up the chat on your way in, say hello, hit that like button, please, and thank you. And let me know where your Venus sign is in your natal chart. All right. And if you're joining me on the replay, I appreciate you just as much. I sincerely hope that you get whatever clarity, confirmation, illumination, enlightenment, whatever you're looking for with this broadcast. I sincerely hope that you find it. And if that is the case, hit the like button, the subscribe button, and the notification bell if you wouldn't mind, and if you haven't already. All right, those are great, especially the like button. It is definitely one of the best ways to support the channel. All right, it lets the algorithm know that you like this content, so it disseminates it to other people who may like it as well. All right, and speaking of supporting the channel, have sort of a major announcement, not too major, but just a little bit of a shift. So I preface this by saying first, I'm so thankful for all of you, especially those of you who have been rocking with me since day one. Gemini is my second house of money, and I'm heavily, or I should say, my business is always heavily affected by Mercury retrograde because Mercury rules Gemini. And because Mercury is such a fast moving planet, I feel like I'm constantly changing things up a lot. And so, for those of you who've been rocking with me forever, thank you. Thank you for your support, even if it feels like maybe it's just me, but sometimes I feel like I can kind of be all over the place because I've got a lot of different ideas. I'm always implementing different things. That is just the nature of Mercury. And Mercury doesn't only rule my second house of money, it also rules my sun sign. So I'm very mercurial, and that really is reflected in my business. And that leads me into my first announcement. So I am shutting down my YouTube channel membership, okay? But have no fear, I've got something better to offer. But it was just time, and not for nothing, YouTube takes a hefty chunk of whatever I make over there. And so rather than continue my YouTube channel membership, I am moving everything over to my private community, Cosmic Collective, okay? So essentially on my YouTube channel membership, this is where I have my exclusive videos, right? Specifically my sign specific videos. So whenever there's a monthly forecast or whenever there is a new moon or a full moon, I break down what each rising sign can expect over there in my YouTube channel membership, I should say. And so now I'm just moving all of that over to Cosmic Collective. And the beauty of that is you not only get exclusive videos. You get access to my community, you get support, you get astrology lessons. There's a whole chunk of goodies that you get over there on Cosmic Collective. And because it's a private space, there isn't as much interference because YouTube tends to interfere a lot. So this is our own private community where we grow, where we share, and where we all sort of support each other on our spiritual journey. Plus, you get exclusive videos. So beginning tomorrow, this YouTube channel membership will shut down. And if you would like, you can join us over on Cosmic Collective. Okay. The link will be in the description box below. It is $11 a month and you get a lot. And there's a lot more coming with that too. So if you really like my content, if you like my forecast, and if you're looking for a way to support me and the channel, joining Cosmic Collective would be the best way. You win, I win, we all win. So that's my latest development in my business endeavors as they change from day to day. Like I said, Mercury retrograde really always has me re-examining things in my business, and I love it over there on Cosmic Collective. Again, it's a lot less interference, so it's a great place to be. You can commune with other astrology enthusiasts. I do live streams over there, which goes a little more in depth than I do here on the channel, and again, you get exclusive access to videos and all of that good stuff. So again, link is in the description box below. And to the people who have joined my channel membership here in the past, I cannot thank you enough for your support. Some of you have been rocking with me since the very first day I started that membership over a year ago, probably close to 2 years ago now. And so thankful for you. So thankful for everything that you've done in supporting me. And I look forward to seeing you over in Cosmic Collective. Okay, so there's that. And then if you have not gotten my natal chart reading at the starter chart, honestly, what are you waiting for? This is the starting point. This is my quintessential natal chart reading where I read your chart for filth. But more importantly, it's not just about telling you what's what. I give you actionable steps that you can use to start bringing your chart to life. Because trust and believe, I know what it's like. When I first started learning astrology, I learned my natal chart, the planets, and all of that. And then I was just like, okay, so I know this information. That's cool. But it's all about taking that information and applying it to your daily life. That's where the magic really happens. And in the starter chart, which again is my signature natal chart service, I help you do just that. All right. So I've got scheduled availability for this week. So if you're looking to start really implementing astrology into your life, but not only that, getting to know yourself better, do yourself a favor, hit that link in the description box and schedule your reading. All right. I've got plenty of availability for the rest of the month. So if you can't even do it this week, you can do it next week. I'm here for you. All right. But this is the service, whether you're new to astrology, even whether you've gotten a reading from anybody else, trust me, their readings are not like mine. And I'm not saying that to be cocky. I'm just confident and I know the value that I deliver. So if that's the case, hit that link in the description box and sign up. All right. So that's what I got for you this week in terms of announcements. Now let's get into the week. And I don't know about you, but I started feeling the energy of this week probably Saturday going into Sunday. So Saturday was the full moon in Aquarius, and we're still under the energy of the full moon. So there could be a lot of illumination. There could be some aha moments. There could be the way that I experience the energy of this full moon in Aquarius, it's like the path forward has become illuminated. Like I actually see it. I can actually really understand the steps that I need to do to move forward. Now, every zodiac sign is associated with a certain part of the body. And when it comes to Aquarius, it actually rules the eyes, or should I say the cornea of the eyes. which allows you to see, right? And our eyes allow us to see forward. So, this full moon in Aquarius was probably very illuminating. And don't worry if it wasn't, we're still under the energy. So, there's still perhaps some goodies that may come about between today and tomorrow, especially because of the rest of the astrology for the week. So, we have, needless to say, a beautiful week, and we have perhaps one of the most positive days of the year happening tomorrow. And I can almost guarantee that you're probably already feeling the energy and experiencing its goodness. At least that is my hope for you, because this energy is super, super potent and it's so beautiful. So, without further ado, let's get into it, and let's start with the theme for the week, which is love, luck, and alignment. Ah, I just love this. So, Venus, like I said before, is the major player for this week. And so she is bringing all things money, romance, relationships, fairness, and equality to the forefront in a very beautiful sort of way. Now, even though Venus covers these things, obviously, when she's in aspects with certain planets, these things can become hurtful, they can feel arduous, but that's not at all what's going on this week. This week is a week of love, luck, and alignment, okay? And she is going to be supercharged with positive energy and she's going to be feeling herself. Let's just say that, okay? Not only that, we've got Mercury finally going direct today, and I don't know about you, but this feels like relief. This hasn't been the worst Mercury retrograde, but it has been an arduous one. It's been a tough one. And we're finally out of the thickness and the fog and the wonky energy, and we're starting to move forward. And the fog is starting to dissipate, which is lovely. And then by the end of the week, we have a date with destiny in a way that's going to be kind of like the cherry on top of the sundae or the cake, right? Just the sweetest thing. Again, stark contrast from last week when it felt like all hell was breaking loose and everything was super difficult. This week, things hopefully for you will be moving a lot more smoothly. But love, luck, and alignment, those are the things that you can expect this week. Now, the one thing that I will say about this is, as much as we love Venus, right? And we love her energy, we love relationships, we love money, right? We love alignment, we love that feminine energy that Venus so much exudes. But where we fall short when it comes to Venus is receiving. So many of us have issues receiving. And it's not to shame you or anything like that. It's to bring your attention to the fact that it can be so easy to desire. It can be a little more difficult and challenging to receive. And to enjoy the fullness of the energy of this week, to really bask in the glory and the abundance and the blessings that the universe wants to bestow on you this week, you have to be comfortable receiving. And for some of you, that may sound overly simplistic, or it may sound like it's not applicable because you have no problem receiving. But when it comes to things like love and money, these are the kind of things that many people carry wounds concerning. People have been hurt, people have been betrayed, people have been broke, people have been destitute. These are the places that are ultra sensitive. These are our sore spots. And again, as much as we're like, oh my gosh, I want to receive this, I want to have this, sometimes when it's right in front of our faces, or when the universe is serving it up on a silver platter, we hesitate to take it. We hesitate to receive. We don't know how to receive. Perfect example, and one which I'm sure some of you can relate to. Have you ever been in a situation where someone gives you a compliment, and rather than just saying thank you and leaving it at that, you're like, women, we tend to do this a lot. Like, girl, oh my God, you look so great. I love that outfit. Oh, thanks, girl. I got it at Marshall's for like $5. You don't need to qualify it with the amount of money that you spent on the outfit. Or, wow, you look really beautiful today. You look so radiant. Oh my gosh, thank you. So do you. Like, and it's not to say that you need to be rude, but Sometimes it's okay to just say thank you. Other times, if you're really feeling yourself, you could say thanks. I know, right? Little cocky, but it's just to demonstrate the point that sometimes we have issues receiving. And this is the week where you're going to want to work that out because the universe has things to give you this week. People have things to give you this week. And I want you to receive it. You should want to receive these things, especially after the dumpster fire that life feels like it's been, especially this year. Receive, be receptive, be open. As much as last week may have felt arduous and may have really had you in your masculine energy, meaning that because Mars was the star of the show last week, it could have been a week where you felt like you had to go after things, a week that was full of action, right? And that's something that we're all readily used to because we live in a society that's very masculine focused, external, patriarchal, action oriented, hustle and grind, right? No, not this week. This is the week where, if last week was the week where you worked, this is the week where you get paid. This is the week where you receive. So don't feel like you have to do the most. One of the things, sorry, I always get really itchy when I start doing these things. My face gets itchy. Um, one of the things that I came to understand very early on in my spiritual journey is that you've got to put forth energy, right? You have to exert energy, but then you kind of got to let it do its thing and you have to see what comes back to you. Again, I shouldn't say again, let me reiterate or let me remind you or let me let you know for the first time. Venus is concerned with equality and fairness, balance. And I love the juxtaposition of the astrological energy because last week was Mars, this week is Venus. Last week was do, exert, force, even push. And then this week, you see what all that forcing and doing and action and pushing yields balance. The universe wants to bestow blessings on you this week, point blank, period. Venus wants to make you feel good, and she's teaming up with another planet that is just, again, one of the most positive days of the year. And so, apart from receiving, right, that would be my first piece of advice for this week. Be comfortable with receiving. The second piece of advice, be open, be receptive. No, that's not it. It just flew off my tongue. Oh my gosh, I haven't. It's like Venus wants you to be receptive. Venus wants you to have balance. And oh man, it literally I literally just lost it. I don't know what happened. Oh, I was on such a roll. Oh my gosh. Yes, Venus wants to bring balance. Venus wants you to be got it. Okay. So number 1, be open to receiving. Number 2, be present. That's like the key to receiving. When you're not present, you're not realizing what's being handed to you, or you're not really appreciative of what's being handed to you because you're either waiting for the other shoe to drop, or you're waiting for something else, or you're complaining and you're saying, this is not what I asked for. Be present. This is not the week for doing, it's the week for receiving. And when you receive, you have to stand still. Every time I think of Venus, especially in all her glory, I think about the Empress card in the Tarot. And the depiction of this card is a queen sitting on her throne. She's the queen of queens, right? And when you think of the queen sitting on her throne, she's not getting up for anybody. As a matter of fact, people bring things to her. All she has to do is embody her queendom and she gets things. It's exactly what the universe is telling us to do this week. So do that. Please, I implore you. Because it's one of those weeks that may feel rare. It's one of those weeks that may feel like, wow, is this for real? Everything else feels like it's been going to shit, but this week feels pretty damn good. And maybe you're starting to feel that already. So bask in it, enjoy it, be open to receiving, and be present. Okay. So now let's get into the exact astrology for the week. All right. So first we have, thank God, Mercury is going direct in Leo. Okay. And so this, I don't know about you, this retrograde has felt like it's lasted a lifetime, right? Everything has been super slow. It's been like molasses going up a hill on a snowy day, right? It's just everything has been super slow. And that's not, we can't just blame that all on Mercury retrograde because we've got other planets that are retrograde as well. So this is the time of the year when things are kind of meant to go slowly. But Mercury retrograde just kind of put a little extra emphasis on slow. Now, Mercury in Leo, when it's not retrograde, when it is direct, it allows you to express yourself uniquely. It allows you to really tap into your heart space. It allows you to have heart to heart conversations. It's really great for conversations with a lover, conversations with children that really speak heart to heart, right? And when Mercury is retrograde, there's so much miscommunication. There's so much misunderstanding. There's so much inability to express yourself uniquely, right? But thankfully, all of that is going to subside. Now, Mercury is turning direct today, but it won't be completely back to our regularly scheduled programming for another 2 weeks or so. But you might already have felt the shift. I know I have. I feel like things just sort of clicked back into place today. Like today felt like a day where things felt sort of normal, I guess as normal as they can be. But there is this optimism. And that's very emblematic. I wouldn't say optimism, but warmth and, you know, warmth and love and heart-centered energy, which is emblematic of Leo. And so now that Mercury is there, the fog is clearing. Perhaps over the last couple of weeks, you may have found it difficult to be creative, to think creatively, to engage in creative endeavors. Again, conversations were probably wrought with miscommunication and misunderstanding. And now that is going to subside. And so give yourself a pat on the back for getting through another Mercury retrograde cycle. Okay. They're never completely easy, but every Mercury retrograde, like I always like to say, is an opportunity to be intentional. And one of the things I loved about this particular Mercury retrograde is that it got you to really think and reflect on what you wanted to be intentional about concerning your heart, whether it's your children, whether it's your creative endeavors, whether it is, a lover, a romantic partner, anyone that you're dating, or even anything that you're passionate about. Mercury retrograde got you to rethink these things. So it would not surprise me if I hear of people have broken up over this time period, or even if people are getting back together. Obviously, that can happen. Either of those things can happen on any day, but this Mercury retrograde probably had a lot of people thinking about, okay, is this relationship good for me? Does it make sense? Does it fill my heart, or am I out, or am I in this relationship for a variety of superficial reasons? I think that many of us had to ask ourselves these questions, and now that Mercury retrograde is over, a lot of people are going to find out those answers, for better or for worse. But either way, we survived, and now we can live another day. Thank God Mercury retrograde is done. Okay, so that's that. And so Mercury will remain in Leo for the rest of the month, and it gives us the opportunity now to really express ourselves, to really have those heart to heart conversations, to really be a little vulnerable. And perhaps the things that we were reminiscing about, the things that we were ruminating on during Mercury retrograde, we can now put action toward them. Because remember, Leo is a fire sign. Fire signs are concerned with action. So taking action on the things that really resonate with our hearts, with our desires. Now that Mercury is direct, we can definitely do that. Okay. And so it also brings a certain amount of
Aha!
clarity. The one thing I can't stand, one of the things I can't stand about Mercury retrograde, apart from electronics malfunctioning and all the things, is the misunderstandings and the mental fog. Regardless of whatever zodiac sign Mercury retrograde is in, I always feel like you have like brain fog. You can't think clearly. And this one in particular felt exceptionally potent. Making decisions, seeing things for what they are was quite difficult. But now,
Aha!
now we can probably go back to thinking and speaking a lot more clearly. All right, so that's number one. Number two, Venus conjunct Jupiter in Cancer. Baby, this transit feels like honey. Oh, it feels so good. Again, you might already be feeling this already. And speaking of feeling how it feels like a tidal wave of emotion. What emotion? This is a tidal wave of blessings that the universe wants to bestow upon you. Beneficial and most positive planets in our solar system, and they are together, occupying the same space in the sky. And at least for Jupiter, Jupiter is exalted in Cancer, meaning that the energy is extra potent. And so, not only is this going to be a transit that bestows positive energy on us, raining blessings, literally, right? Especially because Cancer is a water sign. So, this is literally raining blessings. But these blessings, whatever they are also expanding you at the same time. They're growing you, they're stretching you. And that's the beauty of it. Because you can get things, right, that are positive. You can get things that feel good, but that actually serve to limit you. Think about money. And Venus rules money. So, Venus, in and of herself, she can bestow blessings on you, right? Like she can give you money. She can give you a windfall of money, even depending on which planet she is an aspect to. But Venus can, I'm not going to say she can be fickle with money, but money in and of itself isn't always a good thing. Yes, money can solve a lot of your problems. Money can even buy you a little bit of happiness for a while, right? But Jupiter is known as the greater benefic. And the reason why it's known as the greater benefic is because it expands you, it grows you, it develops you. So the abundance that Jupiter gives, and Jupiter can also give you material abundance like money. But the way that Jupiter would give you that money is slightly different than how Venus would give it. Venus would just give it to you, plop right there. Okay, cool, which most of us would definitely appreciate. But Jupiter is like, I need you to expand a little bit. Jupiter will have you get a new position that requires you to learn new skills. So maybe the money doesn't come immediately, but what you learn in order to facilitate this new role, you can now command more money, not just at this job, but at any job. So what Jupiter has done is Jupiter is like, I've given you more money, but I've given you more value, more experience. So when you put both of these planets together, you're not only getting something perhaps immediately via Venus or something, maybe not, let me not say immediately, let me say something static in the sense that Venus would give you plop something here one time. I don't know why I keep saying plop, but she dropped something in your lap. Now Jupiter would magnify that. Whereas Venus would give you $5, Venus and Jupiter is giving you a new job where you can get a new apartment and a new home. See how that works? It's such a beautiful energy after so much that we've been through. It's like When I was getting ready for this live, I felt like I channeled a message, or not even a message. I felt like I channeled a, a way to describe this transit. And it's like the universe is like, I know you've been through some shit. I know it's been rough. I know you've had days where you just didn't understand anything. I know you've been a good girl. I know you've been a good boy. Here, here, here. Open your hands and receive, right? So, like I said before, you want to be receptive and you want to be present and appreciative. Okay. Now, because Jupiter expands things, this may not necessarily be an immediate blessing. Again, this could be a blessing that expands you, a blessing that you got to stretch a little bit. Jupiter is not going to make it difficult, right? Jupiter is not going to say you got to jump through hoops. Jupiter is just like bigger. I want you to think bigger. I want you to feel better. I want you to feel magnanimous. That's the word that I just got, magnanimous. And so this is one of those transits that you should be excited to feel and see how it unfolds. Hello, Philip Boone. Peace. I haven't seen you in a minute. Thank you so much for tuning in. So, yeah, this is the expansion, the development, right? And because both of these planets are in Cancer, this could be a time where we are planting a seed that will nurture. This is where Jupiter really shines because Jupiter wants to stretch things. And think about how, when you have money, you got to make it stretch. Like you're not getting paid until next Friday, and you got to get whatever you got in your wallet or whatever you got in your bank account, you got to make it stretch till next week. Jupiter is kind of doing the same thing, but not from a place of scarcity or lack. And so Jupiter in Cancer with Venus also in Cancer, conjunct Jupiter, is like we're planting literal money seeds, okay? And we're planting seeds that we want to nurture and develop over time. And these seeds you are going to water with your emotions. That's why, it's one of the reasons why it's so important to be present this week and to feel grateful, feel appreciative, whether you have what you want or not. That feeling of gratitude, that feeling of appreciation is going to be magnified. And when it's magnified, the universe has to give you something to feel appreciative for. The more grateful you feel, the more the universe is like, all right, cool, I'm gonna match that energy and give you things to be grateful for. This is one of those weeks where you could really feel the sweetness. It'll feel like a beach vacation. It'll feel like, ah, I'm already starting to feel it if you can't tell by the tone of my voice. But it's already been an amazing day and it promises to be an amazing week. And this is one of those transits that's going to make it happen. So savor it, appreciate it, and watch it grow. Okay. And then as we move, and this energy is carrying us through the week. And then by the time we get to Saturday, we get to Venus trine the North Node. This is where things truly get magical. The North Node represents our destiny. It represents sort of where we're headed in this lifetime. And when you put a planet like Venus trine the North Node, trines are triangles and they work harmoniously. This is harmonious energy. This is energy that works for you. It's not a situation where there's an opportunity that arises and then you have to take advantage of that opportunity. This is the universe dropping something in your lap. I think that's why I was guided to use that word plop before, because Venus wants to plop some money into your lap. Venus wants to plop a relationship into your lap. Venus wants to balance things out in your life. Okay. And then when she's trying the North Node, this is like, it's like meeting your soulmate. It's like you have a bill of $1,000 that's due, and boom, $1,000 finds you. I wouldn't even put it in that sort of mundane terms because the North Node is not just about paying a bill. The North Node is where you're headed in this lifetime. And so Venus trying the North Node is going to illuminate the path forward. She might even give you the resources that you need to move forward. It's like it's like the universe is like, whatever you need, I got you. Provided that you're on the path of your purpose. Trust and believe, when we're talking about the North Node, the universe isn't going to co-sign bullshit. If you're not where you're supposed to be, if you're not what you're doing, those blessings are not going to find you. This isn't one of those free for all kind of energies where you could be doing some bullshit and the universe is like, all right, cool, let me throw you a bone. No. This is like, you know what I'm seeing right now? Those guys at the airport who are guiding the plane with those light up sticks, right? Whatever they're called. It's like the universe is going to be guiding you toward your North Node, right? And it's up to you to follow. Of course, we have free will, so you could do whatever you want, essentially. But it's like the universe is going to be guiding you and saying, listen, this is the way. And look, here are the resources. Now, resources don't necessarily just mean money. Resources could be the relationships, whether romantic or business, the friendships, right? The advice, the clarity of mind. Wherever this is, um, wherever this is happening in your chart, sorry, I blanked out for a second. Wherever this is happening in your chart, this is going to clue you in as to perhaps what kind of resources the universe is going to bless you with. Now, Venus is in Cancer and the North Node is in Pisces. These are both water signs. So, number one, intuition is key. And again, if I sound like a broken record, it's because I need to sound like that, because you need to be present. And it's like Mercury's not going to be retrograde anymore, so you can't use that excuse. Be present. Don't get distracted. Because not only are you getting blessings, you are being shown the way this week in an effortless sort of way. It's like a neon sign from the universe. Go this way, do this, talk to this person. Don't ignore it. Be present and listen to your intuition. You should always be listening to your intuition, even if it doesn't make logical sense. But it's almost like your intuition is going to be guiding you to the goodies this week. Your intuition is going to be guiding you forward. Your intuition is going to be guiding you to who to talk to, what to invest in, who to call to be a client. And these things are going to seemingly fall into your lap this week. This is one of those rare weeks where you don't have to do much. And what a godsend that is during a time when we feel like we have to do the most. So it's a beautiful week. It's going to be a beautiful, expansive, and aligned sort of week. And I love this for us because we deserve it. We've been through some shit. And this is going to be one of those weeks that's just absolutely beautiful. So be receptive, be open to receiving, get comfortable receiving, be present, limit distractions, be in the moment. And the best way to be in the moment is to practice gratitude and appreciation. And listen to your intuition. Let it guide you. If you were to do those three things this week will be maybe one of the best weeks of the year for you. Okay. So that's what we got for the astrology for this week. So now we are at the point in our broadcast where it is Q&A. So if you have any questions based on astrology, even spirituality, you want to ask, this is your opportunity. I will not be answering questions on your natal chart. Of course, we have the starter chart, which is available to you. So if you have natal chart questions, book a reading so you can really understand your natal chart. Link is in the description box below. All right. And so It's a fire. Yes. Yes, exactly. All right. So think of your questions. And while you're thinking of your question, I have a question for you. And that is, what blessings are you ready to receive this week? I want you to think about that. First of all, in answering this question, I want you to number one, look to see where Cancer is in your natal chart. That's number one. I also want you to look to see where Pisces is in your natal chart. This is going to let you know what type of blessings, how all of this positive energy may find you this weekend. If you have issues with that or you don't know what I'm talking about, again, book the starter chart. Link is in the description box below. All right. So, what do you want to receive this week? What are you ready to receive this week? Think about it and then ask the universe for it. One of the best things to do is as you are falling asleep, like when you're in that stage of you're about to fall asleep, but you're still kind of awake, ask the universe either a question, especially if you need to know something, ask the universe a question or ask for a blessing. This is one of those weeks where you're definitely going to want to do that because the universe will respond. All right. So I don't see any questions coming in, which is just fine. But again, you've got your questions. So think about that this week. All right. And so, with that, that is this week's weekly astro forecast. I sincerely hope that you were able to get at least one important piece of information that you can use going into this week and beyond. For information on everything that you need to know, especially if you want to book a natal chart reading, the links will be in the description box below. Thank you so much. I wish you nothing but the absolute best for this week. I hope that you receive all that your heart desires. And I hope that abundance truly finds you. All right, my loves, thank you so much for tuning in. And I will see you next week, same time, same place, same great astrological information. Take care.